BJ Anthony Joshua.
Aren't many fighters not named Canelo Alvarez that can pack 70,000 in the house, but this is par for the course for Anthony Joshua.
Yes, sir.
World, Anthony Joshua.
This man has become an icon in many ways for what he's been able to do outside of the ring. Rank Jake Paul if he wins this fight. That will put him in position at least to fight for a world title. Whatever you want to say about Jake Paul, we were all there.
Fight that's captured the imagination and generated huge interest. Two men who split opinion, a fight that splits opinion. It has to be the most eagerly anticipated 8-rounder that any of us.
When a seasoned destroyer meets a fearless disruptor, the ring stops breathing. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul isn't just a fight, it's a collision of eras, mindsets, and raw ambition. Joshua steps in with crushing power, veteran IQ, and Olympic-born discipline that shaped him into a global knockout machine. On the other side stands Jake Paul, riding a wave of speed, sharp timing, and an unpredictable style fueled by unshakable confidence. This matchup crackles with energy because both men carry something dangerous. Joshua has something to protect, and Jake has something to prove. In boxing, that combination can set the world on fire.
But this is what we signed up for, and he's very tall, but that means I can use my speed and my size to...
Analysts are fiercely split as they break down the strategies for this high-stakes showdown, with many predicting the opening rounds to be nothing short of explosive. Some believe Joshua will try to impose his power early, forcing Jake Paul backward and testing his composure under real heavyweight pressure. Others argue Jake's best chance is to use movement, sharp jabs, and disruptive timing to frustrate Joshua before finding openings. What makes this matchup so captivating is the fact that both fighters are in peak physical condition, dialed in mentally, and carrying game plans built for shock value. Every expert agrees on one thing: this fight is unpredictable in the best way possible. Jake Paul is stepping into this fight with a level of confidence that has shocked even veteran analysts, displaying a belief that feels stronger and sharper than ever before. Recent commentary highlights how fully he trusts in his ability to rise to this moment, treating it not as a spectacle but as a genuine path to victory. Unlike his earlier matchups, Paul's preparation now carries an intensity rooted in discipline, focus, and a refusal to be distracted. Experts watching his camp emphasize that his mindset is becoming one of his most dangerous weapons, blending physical sharpness with iron mental resolve. This attitude shows that he isn't blinded by the challenge of facing a former heavyweight champion. He's energized by it, seeing it as the ultimate chance to prove his worth on a global stage.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here.
BJ Flores, a respected boxing analyst and former professional fighter, offers a far more cautious and realistic breakdown of this matchup. He acknowledges that Anthony Joshua may not be operating at the absolute peak of his prime anymore and has shown moments of vulnerability in recent fights, but he insists that none of that diminishes the danger Jake Paul is walking into. Flores stresses that Joshua's combination of size, experience, footwork, and heavyweight power creates an uphill battle unlike anything Jake has ever faced. He points out that Jake has not consistently tested himself against true elite-level opponents, making this leap incredibly risky. According to Flores, the timing of this fight could expose Jake to serious danger, and a slower, more calculated climb in competition would have been a much safer and more strategic choice for his long-term development.
To Andy Garcia, I don't think that means you're punchy. I think that means he's fought the best fighters, the best heavyweights over the last 15 years, and he's fallen short, of course. But he's a very, 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 he's a very big man. He's got that Olympic pedigree, and that makes the fight against him very difficult.
It does indeed, what do you think is the upside? There's always an upside for this fight against Jake. I guess if I play sort of the viewer's perspective, what people are saying on Twitter, they're saying it's a win-win for Jake. You fight a two-time former heavyweight world champion in Anthony Joshua. If you get knocked out, it's no big deal. And If you lose, if you get knocked out, you get the respect of the public as well for taking the fight. If you win, you're the king, you know?
Yeah. The upside is, I think, I don't know. Like, everyone's like, oh, I respect Jake. I'm just like, it's just crazy that you would have to fight, a former world heavyweight champion, 6'6", 240-pound gold medalist. That's the only way you get people's respect. Like, there's a lot of other ways. Like, and if you don't get everybody's respect, those people just don't really understand boxing. Like I said, I feel like this fight is a little early for Jake. Obviously, I would like to see him fight one heavyweight before this fight happened, at least one heavyweight, and then maybe see him, be in there with B, a guy world rated, in any weight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, anything before you go in with a guy like Anthony Joshua. It's just a massive difference on the size and the power and win everything. But I guess, if the objective is to make people talk and make people say, oh man, he's crazy, then he's getting exactly that. He's getting what he wants. So to me, it doesn't make sense. This fight doesn't make sense to me at all, but I think it would be there down the road. I'd much rather see like a Canelo fight than an AJ.
Joey Knight offers a strong counterpoint to critics who continue to question Jake Paul's legitimacy as a true boxer, pushing back against the narrative that Paul is merely a social media attraction. Knight highlights that Jake possesses real, fight-changing power, the kind that cannot be manufactured through hype or marketing. He notes that Paul's punches carry enough force to trouble seasoned professionals, and his ability to compete at a respectable level against trained fighters proves he is far more than a novelty act. Knight argues that this genuine power, combined with his improving technique and disciplined preparation, gives weight to Paul's claim that he belongs in high-level matchups. By acknowledging his strengths, Knight reinforces the idea that Jake enters the ring against Joshua with not just ambition but a legitimate chance to compete seriously.
Smiling and frowning at the same time. You must be smiling because it's happening and you're getting a mega payday, but surely you must be frowning at the fact that this kid and others out there believe that he stands a chance of even beating you. And look, the stars align. Maybe Jake Paul could close his eyes, he could put his head down, he could throw a punch sent from the heavens, and he could clip AJ on the chin with it. But even if he does, I'd put my money on it that it doesn't do anything. I don't think it does anything to Anthony Joshua, even if Jake Paul does manage to clip him, because Joshua's never been hard to hit anyway. But the difference between getting hit by a Jake Paul and getting hit by a Daniel Dubois is monumental, and even that is an understatement. And the difference for Jake Paul in getting hit by a Nate Diaz compared to an Anthony Joshua is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What do you think AJ would do to Nate Diaz? What do you think AJ would do to Tommy Fury? Come to think about it, what do you think Francis Ngannou would do to Jake Paul? And look at how that went. So either way, what I'm saying here is quite simple, right? Jake's style is very, very easy for Anthony Joshua to navigate. And that is even if the skill set between the two were on par. Because although he's getting better at them, Jake still makes many, many fundamental flaws. He leans over his front foot when he jabs, and that's a problem because when you do that, you're always going to have the potential to be countered.
Despite all the noise, one theme continues to dominate expert discussions: the sheer gulf in experience between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. AJ has spent years trading punches with the most elite heavyweights on the planet, refining his timing, sharpening his accuracy, and developing a champion's instinct for danger. Even after a lengthy layoff, that depth of knowledge doesn't fade, it becomes a weapon. Analysts argue that while Jake may arrive in peak shape, physical preparation simply can't replicate the lessons learned through years of battling world-class opponents. And yet, the unpredictability of this matchup is exactly what keeps the boxing world glued to the conversation. Some commentators believe Joshua may be advised to dial back his power, shifting the tone of the fight and creating pockets of opportunity for Jake. Others insist that AJ cannot afford to play safe, because even a single mistake against a confident, explosive challenger could shift momentum. This tension between risk, strategy, size, and legacy creates a unique storm that neither fighter can overlook. Whether this becomes a historic shocker or a harsh reality check, the stakes have never been clearer. Jake Paul is stepping into the deepest waters of his career, and Anthony Joshua is gambling his prestige on a spectacle the world didn't expect. One misstep could change everything for both men. If you're hooked on fights like this, make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with every boxing fan you know. Big episodes are coming. Don't miss what's next.